Welcome to Dwarven Forge Live. This is On the Anvil, episode 182. This is the show where we take you behind the scenes here at Dwarven Forge. We show you what we're working on. We show you some of the challenges we're facing. We show you a glimpse of the future. This is the show where you get to interact with us live. We want to hear your ideas. We want to hear your feedback. We want to hear all your jokes. This is the show where we'll often veer off topic. We never have a script, and we often have technical difficulties. But most importantly, this is the show where we spend the next 2 hours enjoying frosty beverages with our wonderful community talking terrain. Welcome, 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 welcome. We've got some special guests today. We got a lot going on. What is happening, Chris? I'm going to get our frosty beverages. We're
go for it. Orion, I regret to tell you, you say you made it for the news for once. We're actually not going to do news today. We don't really have much to say, and also because we've got some extra people in office, we're going to be doing some other things instead to fill the time, because we probably, I mean, God, we could fill the time with anything really, but there's going to be a lot to do.
So we have Chuck here. We have Eli here. We're going to be diving into Caverns, a Caverns deep dive, as it were. And I don't know. We'll see where it all goes. It may veer wildly off course.
Mm-hmm. We'll be giving away a $50 Dwarven Forge gift card roughly an hour into the stream. It's going to be just a keyword giveaway. If you're not familiar with how we do things around here, so just stick around for that. And yeah, that's more or less it.
Do you prefer?
What are we doing over there?
Oh, I don't know where the battery is. So
The battery?
Or Eli's doing some surgery over there.
Oh, got it.
With a drill.
He's running a drill in here.
Yeah, we're getting lively.
Hand drill. Okay.
If you're new here, you're obviously welcome to just lurk and watch, but also you are more than welcome to jump in. We love hearing everybody's voices in the conversation. Don't be afraid to just hop in the chat and let us know what you're thinking. We have such an awesome community here, so we love hearing from everybody, and just be nice. What else?
I don't think there's really anything else. Kind of just getting into it.
Yeah. Although, our one fake piece of news, not fake, but the one semi-news, in case anybody didn't know, is May 19th. We are launching Caverns Deeper, Caverns Reforged.
It's a thing along the bottom of the screen right now. Yeah. It's really mostly.
When is that? That's a week, 2 weeks.
It's just under 2 weeks. It's
2 weeks from yesterday.
It's like it's a day under 2 weeks. And that's what's going on.
The backdrop mimic still made this. We have some lights behind which aren't actually on, I don't think. Oh no, they are on.
They are.
There's practical. Can you go to the light today? There's practical lights behind behind it, so the crystals have some glow to them. You can sort of see it. It's fun gags. Trying to always set the mood. No, I think they're LEDs, so it'll be okay. No fire marshal. Chuck. So Chuck, do you want to come up and say hey? You have a couple of things to show. So this is MC Crime Dog in the flesh. Our senior CS.
The camera. Yeah.
Hey. So
it's typing. Hey Finley. Hey Amy.
This is the face. This is the real.
This is the
Chuck here.
goofy guy you interact with all the time. Yeah.
One of the many goofy folks.
Yeah.
Pretty much all weirdos here is kind of our MO.
I remember watching myself on the Chris brought the interview we did with me and Michelle for the reliquaries. I didn't realize I was so twitchy and weird on camera.
It's watching yourself and listening to your own voice is the thing.
Yeah. Nobody likes looking at themselves.
Yeah,
frankly.
Well, you just get numb to it eventually. When I edited TV commercials, I did all the scratch track VO, so I got very desensitized to listening to my own voice because I would hear myself saying like,
"That's true."
New Fritos dippers, like it just becomes like background noise.
Yeah, my actual voice is much different than what I think it is.
Well,
Very
it's like,
but weird.
So you got
Yeah.
you got something here we
Yeah.
want to take a gander at. You know?
So no news, but show and tell, I guess.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of my time after. See that?
Did
Did it get knocked out again?
they can see
Okay.
my secret agenda?
I spent
Okay.
a lot of time on Hero Forge,
All right.
trying to figure out how to replicate minis and things like that. I often make minis of my characters just as inspiration, just to so in the days after stuff happened. I spent a lot of time with their face customizer trying to. A long time ago, I made miniatures of Michelle and I, so I could have the two of us together posed in a, like we were adventurers. So I decided
You are adventurous. Your life has been an
Yep.
adventure, and your house is a full armor.
Yeah. So I decided to use their face customizer to see if I could replicate her exactly. It took a lot of time trying to replicate. Here we go. This picture.
Throw it right
Sorry.
here. Cameron's dead again.
All right. What is? Yeah. Hang on.
Sorry.
Oh man.
This is actually the picture.
Happy Hippo is trying to watch while playing D&D.
Yeah.
It's a
Where is the actual?
Yak is
Don't need that
drinking and painting. Love to see it. What are you painting, Yak? And Real Arte is painting also. Oh, Real Arte is definitely painting
What's
ship
that?
fronts. Wait, did the stream go down or just the monitor?
I'm killing this monitor.
Okay.
We're still there.
To see if that'll fix it. Yeah.
Was it dying on the outside world also? Right.
Yeah. What is going on here?
Having like extreme technical
I don't know why they don't went out. Yeah.
It's the usual.
completely offline. On the stream going, what's going on?
My thought
Too
was
much
that.
awesome in one place.
Yeah.
My only
Yes.
thought was that.
Elye, Cavern. Nice.
I'm wondering if it's just getting overloaded with too many HDMI connections, although we do this constantly, so
Yeah, nothing is.
I don't know why it would be.
All right.
Yeah.
Before we lose it, pop your phone
Oh.
up
Are we actually online for now?
for at least for a moment.
For the moment?
But a moment in time.
So, if you can hear me, I was trying to replicate, where am I? This picture of Michelle,
Maze.
which is the, apparently the first picture I took of her back when, like October of 1991. We were just going out. A month after we met,
That's 100 years ago. You're old.
a month after we met, I took her away to Florida and her parents were not happy with me. But they forgive me, I think.
They eventually came around.
They eventually came around. So based on that picture, I created.
Wait, this was the pose, right?
That was the pose.
Okay.
This is the mini. It's a Ralpart the mini from 1990 or something like that. I don't know if you can see the details, but a pretty woman in a kind of innocent slide pose
But with
until you
the
turn it
dagger.
around. She's got a dagger hidden behind her back,
This is lead.
and she painted that. It unfortunately went through a vacuum cleaner, but she's painted it. She's got blush on her cheeks,
Wow.
green eyes, lipstick on, stuff like that. She's got as much detail in her paint jobs as she did in all of her
Shot.
shots.
Shot.
Yeah, surprise.
Attention to detail.
Yeah, I've got some more I could show you.
Passion.
Some draw and things like that. She does.
So
really detailed.
that face plus this pose, what did you create?
I created where are we here? This.
Well, I'm
Where are we?
gonna move this camera even closer. Hold on. You just keep it there, and we'll coming in for
I want to keep it kind of
close up.
tilted so you can see the face kind of. And the outfit is based off of a witch costume she made. And it's a pretty accurate replication actually. So
Yeah.
I tried to catch her face. The cat on the thing is our first cat we had together. Our cat named Mouse.
Mouse.
Because we got him as a kitten, and when he's one of those cats that when he eats, he squeaks. So if he'd eat and go,
We have our girl cat doesn't meow. She only squeaks.
but if you turn it around, I managed to get the.
Oh,
If anybody's here to mess with Hero Forge, this is difficult to do. I don't know if you can quite
Dagger
see it,
behind
but
the
I got the
back.
dagger behind her back. Up
And the
there.
crystals on the base.
And the crystals on the base are based off of the Dwarvenite crystal vein from
Totally from
the
Caverns
the
Deep.
vein the crystal vein, driving a crystal vein she did. Yep.
That's
So-
awesome. And you have did it come with that little glass plinth, or did you get this?
No, I found this online, looked along a lot to find one that was the right size, so I could have
So
keep
good.
this safe
I love it.
and have a mini Michelle on my desk. So I've got that on my desk next to the framed picture of that I had on my phone. So she's 6 feet.
Yes. Well, speaking of mini Michelles, we got something here. So Chuck gave us the okay for this. So
Step out of the
Eli,
way.
no, yeah, we're gonna need you on here too. But Eli, so Eli's here, our head of sculpting, just got literally showed up 15 minutes ago
Yeah. Just got off the
from
train.
Vermont, and you've been working on something
Yeah.
which Chuck, you have not seen finished or in real life,
Nope. He talked to
And-
me about it. I knew he was planning to do, and I was full.
so you haven't seen anything.
I haven't seen any of it.
Oh, amazing.
There's just some ideas. He asked, "What? How about that? About this?"
So we're gonna
And
do
I
a
was up
little,
for it.
a little
You know, maybe
reaction
something
video.
awesome. So,
So
So what did you make, Eli?
right,
What's
well,
what's going on?
I wanted to do something special in honor of Michelle, and this might be appearing in Perilous Frontiers as sort of a.
It's definitely not.
yeah.
Like, there's no
In
like.
addition
this
to, we have a magic spring, and we wanted something
Spoiler
really
alert.
cool.
yeah,
to go with that. Is that
it's okay.
All right. Well, anyway.
That's the part that didn't need to be said.
Okay. All right, so, anyways, I thought
This is the best part of the show. Is you never know what's gonna happen. We're gonna
which-
keep
can
things
you-
lively.
Where are we?
Well, let's
Yeah,
get
let's-
go to the
let's-
wide and
let's
show
look at
show
Chuck first.
show
Okay.
Chuck first and
Yeah.
walk us through.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you say go to the wide,
You go back. You do that. You shot.
can't see
Yeah.
it.
Can you hold it up?
There
Hold
you
it
go.
up so we can see it. To
Okay,
the, and
which,
bring Chuck. You can slide on in too.
Wait, and we coming? Yeah. Let's show it Chuck first. Okay, so
Mhm.
so here we go. This is probably larger than it will be reproduced, so
Yeah.
I could get as much detail as possible.
With
And-
part of our scanning process, sculpting stuff double size yields the best results for small things.
Yeah, so this is inspired in part just by my appreciation for Michelle and her work and her style, partly by pictures you shared with me, partly by that great crazy picture she had as her like team photo
the
with the
wind
wild
blowing.
hair.
The
that
wind's
just sort of
crazy.
Yeah.
kind of captured that,
The hair monster.
free spirit.
Let's throw it. Let's
yeah,
throw it
okay.
up here so we
Okay.
can't
Um,
see.
Partly even by the mini you'd showed me previously with the cat and the flame and just kind of the
Yep.
idea of
Mhm.
that
The first iteration. Of
yeah
that one.
sort of
Before we got finished.
creating something
Yep.
and certain details here for example her at her side she has a wand which if you look closely is actually a needle which that was your suggestion which was
It's
great of course
just the best. So for anybody that doesn't know, she often would sculpt with the tip of a needle. Like that's how detailed.
Yep.
Forget it. Like look at that little.
and the
Okay.
frog holding it is a Cthulhu face.
Wait, can you closer?
Yeah. See?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
She
I thought,
sculpted the world's smallest Cthulhu.
Yeah.
so there we go. There's a something in honor of that. Yeah. And then this ornament here is actually inspired by the necklace she's wearing in that witch costume.
Yeah.
And I tried it out up here, and it felt a little restricting. I don't know, the aesthetics of it weren't quite working for me. I thought
Yep.
it was better as kind of some sort of a special magical pouch. So, and then also another little Celtic knot, just because she was so great with the knot work and the fine details.
I feel like that's one of her signature.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
things. It's like
Yeah, and so I wanted that to be in there, and then a cat, of course, a familiar, kind of looking up to her, and then finally she's got her sculpting tools here on the back, so that's what this pouch is.
Yep.
Which I copied some of the ones in that picture that I think maybe Nina had taken, where you laid them all out. Or,
Yeah.
With the,
Yep.
and just had some fun with the the wind blown drapery and tried to capture her likeness
Not
as
the
best
hair
I
eat her
could.
face or anything like
Yeah,
that.
no, I didn't want to hide her face, of course, that would, but, just the idea of, and then the flame kind of going contrary to the wind, like it goes where she wants it to go,
Yeah.
despite, so,
Yep.
that
Yeah.
whimsy, that magic, that like
Yeah. so,
mischievous flame.
yeah,
He is great. Eli. Thanks.
so, well, you're welcome, and I hope you, you like it.
And this
I
is
can
gonna
still
be-
change it, of course,
It's
But-
going to be in Perilous Frontiers. There'll be a tribute statue as part of a set in there.
yeah, the disabled
Yeah.
lady,
It's
Yeah.
a lot like Doc. I'm wearing this because I have a had an altercation with Doc trying to get him out of the way of construction.
Doc is one of the new cats.
Yes.
We have 2 cats, Doc and Missy,
Right.
tabbies. Doc's got the
Gee.
softest fur in the world.
And the
But,
sharpest claws, apparently.
yeah. Sharpest claws, yes. The sharp teeth for here. This is actually holding a Band-Aid on that would fall off instantly. But we were having construction done, and I needed to get him out of the way, so I didn't want him stepping through drywall dust and things like that.
Cats always want.
And Missy ran up there to hide anyway, but had to capture Doc to get him to go upstairs. He had a disagreement, didn't want to do that.
Anybody that's tried to capture cat knows how this story ends.
Yeah.
I won that disagreement, but I got a claw mark that goes all the way around my wrist and a few more. So.
So yeah, our cat Pixie is like, she decided she needs to go out. So anytime the door opens, wherever she is in the house, boom, there she is, and she can go like under it and around it. And always like, cat.
So Paul is asking if there is a link to the Hero Forge. Is there? Could you share a link to the Hero Forge model so people could print their own out?
Suppose I could.
If you don't want to, you don't have. You know,
I'm not
it,
sure.
it was just a request. Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'll think about it. I'll think about it, Paul. Yeah. I'm not sure how much you want people
Yeah.
messing with it or something like that.
Yeah.
Be able to get one of these somewhere down the line. Anyways.
Yeah.
But I made it so I could do it, the 2 of us together.
Yeah.
And I'm like, several years ago, I printed out one of the printers here, like a 5-inch statue of the 2 of us.
It's
put
really
it
cool.
together. So she's got. Even before that, the base customer got her look pretty well. I'm holding a crowbar, pointing, "Hey, let's go off on an adventure, right? When do you want to go?" And she's like,
But you know she said yes.
Yeah.
So, best.
"No, that's awesome, man. Thanks."
Yeah. Well, it was
And we'll have to
rewarding to work on. You know, I don't get to do figurative stuff that often, and I wanted to do something special for her.
Yeah.
And,
A lot of
Yeah.
good details. She's like,
No, it's really something.
"Yeah, I've got the miniature I made of her. I printed out both the miniatures from Hero Forge. Since we backed their Kickstarter, I got 2 free miniatures anyway. So I printed out both of us together, and the Cthulhu here, the smallest Cthulhu you got.
Yeah.
I've got the painted one she had in a display case thing with that miniature. That's like normal miniature
Amazing.
size.
Right.
Like,
I mean, the Cthulhu is like, I don't know,
it's like
quarter-inch tall.
It's like-
tops. Like
a normal miniature size, and the Cthulhu she sculpted is like half as tall as the cat you've got here
Right.
in relation to it. So it's like,
yeah.
but you
it's
can
like,
easily tell
Right.
it's
Yeah.
Cthulhu in that classic
Right. Yeah.
book cover pose.
Yeah.
and it was just you said it was just like a doodle
Yeah.
that she was doing like while
Just
on
messing
meeting or
around with
something,
some,
like
a
just
ball of clay,
Yeah.
doodling with it, and made Cthulhu. Okay.
channeling the elder gods.
Yeah.
It's the best.
So.
Whew. Well, thank you for unveiling that, and
Yes.
you
Yes,
guys got
thank you.
beans early on.
Yeah.
We're,
Beans. Yeah.
yeah, tribute beans
Awesome
that will
beans,
be
yeah.
in Perilous. So coming this fall. There's at least 20 cats between all the DF employees. Oh,
Yeah, so many people. that
I
work
have
here.
3. So, yeah, there's 7. What do you have? 2, 1.
I have 2.
Yeah, so it's 9 just in this room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're doing okay.
Yeah.
So let's switch gears into the past. So we've got a glimpse of the future.
Should
Now
I move
let's,
this just for safety's
Yes,
sake?
yes. Like
A little
put it
paranoid.
under lock and key. We're putting ships in Paris. So we have Caverns Reforged launching in 2 weeks. You should put this on.
Yeah. It's off early, so it's good for
Microphone.
Probably no one heard anything I said previously.
So thought it would be fun to go down a trip down memory lane to talk a little bit about where we came from, how we got here. And then you had some fun we might do on camera. Oh, I got 2 things before we do that. Okay, so first of all, we've got the Maple Tree Challenge.
Oh.
Are you ready? Okay. So, I think if anyone saw that, I was a couple episodes back. I was trying to put together the your puzzle box, your Hellraiser puzzle box here on camera, and it didn't go so well. So, You're gonna do it on camera. We're gonna see how long it takes you. Chuck, do you have a stopwatch on your? We're gonna put a formal timer on here. Okay, no pressure now.
Okay.
All right. Because this thing is terrible. It's harder than it looks. And,
I'll just do it once you get it.
so this is a piece from the Tudor villages coming up. I'm trying to obfuscate it so Eli doesn't get an advance a head start. And it goes together beautifully once you figured it out. It's the figuring it out part that's even. It's got some guides. It's got some stuff, and like once you know how to do it, you can theoretically get back there. But let's see. We're gonna see how easily you can do it. Are you ready?
All right.
Gentlemen, start your timers on your marks.
You got to put it down.
Get set. Maple.
Okay.
Oh boy, oh, I see what you mean now. Okay.
Right. Should be.
Didn't realize I had
there.
internal.
Yeah, that was.
I
I
Wait, is that right?
think so, isn't it?
Oh,
Was that right?
Timer again.
Was that right? Oh,
Yeah.
did I have it wrong? Oh, maybe it's there. Okay,
There,
sorry.
that's
All
it.
right, that's it. Sorry. Okay,
All right.
so that was sort of a cheat, but
All right.
not
well,
too
that
bad.
was-
Basically, I mean,
that was better than my 60 seconds. It took her
So-
2 minutes.
16 and a half.
so
Wow.
there's, if you look, the foliage here forms sort of an arrow shape pointing that way, and on the underside of this, I put an arrow shape pointing. Well, if you line them up so they're pointing the same direction, and flip it over,
Well, I thought you were lining up the arrow on the underside of this also.
you don't have to.
Yeah.
Because it's harder to check
Yeah,
both of them.
flip it and
So
keep it.
that's why I added the other one. There was, I did like, I don't know,
You
4
kept
or
making
5.
it
I kept
easier and
making it
it's still
easier,
hard.
yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not too bad. Like, yeah, as long
you.
once you do, well, but once you get the trick, you know,
My
yeah.
landmark is the Bigfoot, which this.
Let's see, Bigfoot is
Yeah.
Bigfoot has also got the point. So here,
It
here it
lines
is.
up with
See,
that
that's
one.
got an arrow shape, and that arrow shape you can kind of see in the foliage there. It hides in the
It's-
leaves.
There's a Bigfoot in the sculpt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
is
that's
it-
right.
Cryptids are
Sasquatch,
everywhere.
yeah.
So.
Yeah.
The
So,
thing that is counterintuitive, I think, is that the foot goes right kind of in the middle. Where
yeah, it's not
somehow
quite
you
off
think
center,
it's
yeah.
going to be farther off or whatever. That's what it always trips me up.
Yeah, yeah. The thing is that this bit of foliage actually sits in this spot, which is maybe where you want to put the foot first.
We will have to do an instructional video for when you get your own.
Yeah.
But it is.
Anyways.
All right. So you aced the Maple Tree Challenge. Fine.
Right.
All right. So I'm a little disappointed. That was supposed to be more torturous. We also have, while we're still in sort of the future, because people are going to get that in, I don't know, this fall. We have the piece that a low res print of the piece that you were sculpting on camera last time. When was it? When was this, Chris? Like a month, 6 weeks ago?
It was
Well,
early
it was
March,
it was
I
it was
think.
well before. It was
Sometime
well
in
before
March.
we were doing Caverns, so
8 weeks ago.
it's
All right, I don't
it's
A lot
been
has
a bit.
changed.
while ago, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
we got I thought it would be fun to. So you were sculpting this on camera last time you were here,
Yeah.
and I thought it might be fun to show. I think you added this.
Yes,
after
that
the
was an
stream,
addition.
You cleaned that up. Like it's a little hard to see because it's kind of a low res print, but
Yeah.
this was the cave entrance bit. So I thought you could talk a little bit about what was happening. The
Sure.
fun was you were getting feedback from the chat
Yeah.
while
so,
sculpting to
alright.
put some stuff in.
Like
You can
back.
put it up here. I'll track.
Okay. Okay. All right. So yeah, for anyone who missed that,
And I apologize. This is kind of a light gray. It's a little
Yeah.
hard. It's a low res light gray
it's-
print, but it's all we have right now. So
right. So yeah, it's been scanned and digitized, but we haven't got the high res version. So for anyone who missed that other stream, this is part of the dune family, and it's the entrance to a cave or a tunnel or a canyon, depending on what you choose to use it with. And the idea is the dune rises up and then drops down to get the sense of kind of going down into the ground. There will be other pieces that fit on the top and kind of you can make a cave with it, or you can put these back to back to just punch right through a dune, or there'll be a tunnel piece that goes behind it to make a longer tunnel or a longer cave. So various functionality.
A crevasse. Like
Yeah.
you can run it in with your dunes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a couple spots for pole accessories and a couple spots for flight stands for the drift stones, and they're perfectly distant, so you can have linked drift stones with the way they interlock now, so you can use this as a base for that if you want drift stones floating above this. And then we were taking suggestions as I was working on it on camera. And one cool idea that I don't actually remember who it was. And it was, I think it was sort of a bit corroborative,
Yeah,
but
there were
a lot of good ideas flying around. But someone suggested that there should be a secret door in the side of this cave. So what I did is I made this.
Wasn't someone suggesting runes or glyphs or something?
Yeah, I think maybe one person
suggested
suggested the door and
there's a
another suggested the
keyhole,
cave.
yeah.
Although if I'm wrong and someone did it all, good, you're awesome and thank you. But anyways, so basically I took this rock here and I made it just a little.
Can you tilt it towards
okay.
camera so we can see? There you go. Boom. Oh, back right there. You can see it.
Okay.
Sort of.
Here we go. Yeah. This
It's
rock
hard
here.
to see in this print, but
It is hard
there.
to see here, but it should show up better. So this rock here, you notice the strata doesn't
Tilt it back
quite cut
down,
across it. No,
Right there.
quite cut across it the way it might, the way the rest of the rocks are divided. And you do see that in real rocks. It could just be an ordinary, difference in the stone. But it makes it look just a little bit odd. It's a little bit door-shaped. And then if you look closely, there's like a petroglyph carved into it, which...
I know you can't
which
see
is-
what you're actually talking about. You
Sure.
just have to go blind.
So imagine, let me paint the scene for you. There's a rune vaguely in the shape of a hand or a
we
claw.
can see it now. You just can't see it.
Okay, yeah. That perhaps is just a petroglyph carved by someone that lived here 1,000 years ago in this cave, or maybe you put your hand on it and it opens this secret door which leads somewhere, and that can then be a way down into a smaller cave or just a hidden grotto behind the rock that has a treasure or who knows what in it.
It's a really fun little,
Yeah.
For those of you that were on the stream, like you were there for the genesis of this, you'll see it's a tiny little subtle thing that people might miss.
Yeah.
But it's there. If you know to look for it, it's there.
And then likewise, I thought I'd add something else in the same vein. So right here,
Because this came up in this came up in chat. I feel like the lamp.
yeah, it might have. I mean, I think it was
chat.
something I was kind of wanting to stick in here, just because it's such a classic thing. One of the classic original fantasy stories is the 1001 Nights, and so the genie and the lamp. So here we have kind of a classic Arabian style oil lamp hidden under this. Kind of the lid of this hidden chamber is this stone that's part of the base of the cave here, and ordinarily you'll never see that thing, and the dungeon master doesn't ever need to use it. But if he feels like it, she feels like it, that could be something that someone can find, and it might actually have a hidden djinn in it, or who knows what powers it might have. But anyways, just one more.
Fun thing to
It's
paint
just,
while you're
it's just a fun thing to
there.
paint it. Yeah, exactly. Put a little brass.
I mean, it's the
on
classic, classic thoughtful touches of just it's a little piece of story there that you can do what you want, or you can ignore it, or
Yeah.
We had a really neat suggestion of putting making an insert so people could put a door in there. It's interesting.
Right, to just literally like the way we have in a lot of the other Caverns things.
Seal that off with like a door shaped thing or whatever. Dragos loves the Easter eggs.
Well, the sort of thing that I think particularly players might not notice for years, and then they might just be sitting idly at the table when it's not their turn, staring at things.
Yeah,
like,
and
hey,
just really, wait a second. There's
what's
a
that? Yeah. So.
I love it. While we're showing people stuff, this is a piece that Eli's going to sculpt while he's down here. Is a so we have a big grand cave entrance. We haven't shown that yet, but this is a mini cave entrance piece. So it's going to let this work more self-contained and kind of a smaller way to enter into stuff. So, question for you is, when you get a weird, like a kind of a weird piece of geometry.
Yeah.
How do you approach this, where what it's got to do, but some of it has to defy gravity a little and whatever? Like, how the heck do you wrap your head around?
Are you asking the technical side or the aesthetic side, or both? Aesthetic. So,
well,
okay.
I mean, you can talk about the technical, but I don't know how.
Yeah, technical. I mean, that's relatively straightforward. The armature is probably going to be just a little flat piece of something stiff that I can span this with. I'll probably sculpt the bottom, fit it in, and then sculpt the top. So that's not.
How do you get it to fit? perfectly?
Well, there's going to be a little bit of in and out. That's why I'll do the bottom first, so I can just hold on to this part.
Yeah.
And and don't have to worry about getting fingerprints and stuff on there. And I'll get it roughly there. With this thing, I can I can have some warm clay and I can basically press it down in there. Once I'll cover the armature with warm clay so it sticks really well. So I'll melt some monster clay onto there, and then while it's still fairly soft, I'll smush it right in there. And that'll, kind of like Booleaning something on a digital sculpt, same idea. And then from there, I'll kind of look at the shapes and I'll try and figure out, all right, what is the logic of the stone that might actually create those shapes? So, yeah, kind of aesthetically, what is this going to do? I mean, it is a weird shape, so
Not
there's
the
a
first
couple.
time you've had to deal with a weird shape.
Not the first time, yeah. So, I mean, one fun thing about this is it doubles as an alternate stone bridge, and we have a few of those now. But if you want, say, a canyon that's crossed by multiple bridges, it might be fun to have several different ones. So here's one more that will naturally fit right into the mouth of this canyon or into the tunnel beyond. I'll try and make sure it also fits in that other part, although don't actually have a print of that yet. But
No.
I
We
think
have
that
the
should,
clay here, though.
yeah,
Could, like, mess with.
probably.
Yeah.
And then worst comes to worst, I can adjust it later digitally. But so
There's a chair here, too. If you...
oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Not for-
So
for sure.
as far as like what approach am I going to take aesthetically, I'm going to look at what it's fitting into and think about, all right, the primary use of it is right here. So what's going to feel natural here? This is some kind of an arch. Well, there are real arches in nature that are crazy long, thin things, like at Arches National Park, for example.
But they don't feel real. It's part
They
of the
almost
problem,
do.
right?
Some of
Like,
them
you-
don't.
they're,
Yeah,
like,
necessarily.
otherworldly, like aliens
Yeah.
came down and made
Yeah. But I mean, you can use those for inspiration, obviously, and kind of look at what the grain of the stone is doing there.
Mhm.
It's probably got a bit of a curve to it. It's probably something where, this part was made of a denser, the strata for whatever reason got pressed together harder than whatever was beneath, and that's why it wore out below, something like that. So you can kind of share that idea. Follow these. This has got a slight upward trend in these
Mhm.
splits here, so I can kind of carry that
Carry
across
that
here.
through.
And then make this bit of stone look like it's kind of growing right into this. So this naturally carries up here, and that'll feel a little more natural. And then, some sign that it might have dropped out. There might be, depending on what we want to do, we could put a hint of a stalactite or something in there where,
Mhm.
Sandstone doesn't do that as much as limestone does, but everyone, again, this is a case where people expect that jaggedy look in a cave.
It would probably just emotionally it feels right. Whether or not it's like logically right, it feels like the thing that just,
Yeah. And who knows? It might be that it literally got melted by the blue dragon that was sick of hitting its head every time it came in, so it went with some lightning and just kind of blasted a little bit out of there, and
You can find a narrative way to sort of justify anything.
Yeah.
The other thing I thought of too while we're looking at this is you've got creative license to go up vertically on this. Like the only reason it's this thin is because I was doing it fast with 2 pieces of foam, like it was a first pass mock. So like there's freedom to like this can go up further. Speaking of sort of natural arches, like if you need to kick the top of this up to make it flow, like
Right. Yeah. So I mean, it's
playground.
because we have a couple pretty flat bridges already, so there's no huge reason to do that. Yeah. I mean, we could also. Well, here's another question: do we want to have any Wyverstone in it, or does that make it too specific? I kind of think it does. Yeah. I think
raw,
it's
like just rocks and maybe a little sand in between
Yeah.
or whatever. Like
because we can always add a couple Wyverstone bits here
Yep.
with the holes, and
We
maybe
put a
there's a
pole
closer
accessory
hole
hole
in this.
there.
Exactly. So then
Yep.
you can add it if you want it.
I think what would be nice is if, like with some of the mountain pieces, if there were platforms that were conveniently shaped very close to the size of some of the Wyverstone scatter, so that like you could, when you put it on top, it would look like pretty seamless.
Yeah.
we have a lot of friendly, like a bunch of these are sized to fit a bunch of the scatter that's in Perilous. Like so there's a lot of that thought of like how do we stack all this stuff and make good spots. And of course things that take scatter also take minis really well.
Yeah.
The other someone's asking if a mini fits under there vertically. I don't think so. That's like not by modern like a gnome
It
or
depends.
a halfling
Depends
or something.
out.
But the problem is modern minis are really
That one Chuck
Okay.
had
big
might
these
fit
days.
under here.
Yeah, she would fit under there. But if you need to, A, you can lift it if you need to put a mini under there. You can lift it, and B, it's not supposed to be a big opening. We have the grand topper, which will give you can definitely stand in. But this is supposed to be the nastier, smaller.
Yeah, that's where the Kruthix are or something,
Yeah.
or yeah.
Just play with 15 millimeter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We poured in your 15 millimeter minis,
Yeah.
your historicals.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also, I mean, I can certainly conceivably
Dentures
notch
for
out
the
a
cave
little
mimic.
bit right here. If it's going to be more jaggedy anyways, maybe there'll be a bit more hole
Does
right
the
in the middle.
Aranthor cave cover fill in that space?
It's the Aranthor cave cover. Is that the?
Oh, is that the little curvity? Oh, look at it. I don't think. I mean, it'll be fit okay, but it's the little half moon. Wow.
What else can we say about this that's interesting?
Um.
I probably won't
Yeah.
actually go with these exact sort of rounded. I'd probably have it a bit more elongated because we want to convey a natural arch, but I can add a few bits to suggest the grid without it being broken up quite the same way. Oh yeah, that thing. Yeah.
It sort of fits in there. Yeah, it's not the prettiest. I don't know if it'll fit under this. Yeah, it's probably so it's too tall. So that'll give you a sense of how tall a mini would fit. But this kind of fits already.
Yeah.
Gnomes, halflings, and goblins. And Meerlocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't do meat locks.
Yeah.
BK waiting to happen.
It's it. Nobody, none of your players will quit. All right, I think we do. Any other thoughts on this before we go into the caves? We've done the future. Yes, the arch top is going to be a nice little mini bridge option too.
Yeah.
Be fun.
And I'll try and make these bottom bits, although they're going to fit into this, I'll try and make them look natural when they're free spanning. So if you just got it sitting, like this on something, it's going to look slightly funny, but there's a lot of weird rocks in the real world. So,
It'll look really nice if you nestle it up against the thing and do it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about the. We need to make some more smaller component sets out of some of the stuff in the Aranthor Mountain, because a lot of those pieces are just you get like the huge like $500.
It's hard to
Yeah.
get some of the Aranthor needs a recomposition at some point.
Yeah.
Reforged back into the mountains. All right, let's go back in time. We're gonna go back. We're gonna get in our time machine. So I don't know when this was. I don't know what year we were talking. Caverns Deep was 8 years ago, 6 years ago,
I think 2017 was the camp, or maybe
so
20
9 years ago.
Hellscape was 2019. So actually, was it 2018 then? I think the
Yeah.
Yeah,
campaign
because
was
of course we
2018.
started well ahead of, yeah.
So it's somewhere less than 10 years ago.
Yeah,
But
but not much.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
And we'd finished Dungeon of Doom, and it was quite successful. We were prepping our next big project. We were going to go back into Caverns and taking everything we learned from Dungeon of Doom and from Castles, and it was a chance to really kind of go in and patch up Caverns and build on. There were some neat pieces to start with, but there was so much potential there. So it was pretty exciting. It was also, it coincided with, I had gone full time at DF, and Stefan was heading out to Seattle, so he was out of our hair. So it was a first really like clean slate to just go all in. And so we kicked off with a really fun creative summit where we had Drew came in, and we had Aaron and Hamster and Nina and Toby and you were in, and
Was Hamster with us at that point?
yeah, that was his
Okay,
first. He
that was
just
his first,
started.
okay.
That's when he thought he was painting. He thought the pieces he was painting were going to go to the backers.
Right.
And I told him to put a piece on a belt sander because it was like over. And he's like, "Aren't they going to mind?" Like, I'm like, "Nah, no one will know." He's like, "Are you sure it's going to be fun?" I was like, "Yeah, just throw it on the belt sander, grind it down." And he's like, "I don't know." I'm like,
Oh, that's funny.
"But he
Yeah.
spent like 2 days painting like one wall. I'm like, "Dude, we gotta look at this. There's a stack of like 400 walls. What are you doing?" He's like, "I want the people to be happy." I'm like, We just didn't see it on camera. And it was just like
Yeah.
this whole thing. But
Yeah.
yeah,
And
so
that was also the same time when Chuck masterminded that amazing layout for
The-
Matt Mercer's Force Gray finale
for the
with the
Tomb of Annihilation,
Tomb
with the
Annihilation,
moving,
yeah, with all the
the
moving.
crazy moving gears.
That
Yeah,
was one of the all-time coolest.
that was
I
wild.
still play that clip occasionally
Yeah.
for myself.
Yeah.
So we had everybody in Michelle's. You know, it was a whole like, you know, it was a whole group. And one of the really fun things, aside from doing the guiding principles, we did these test sculpts, and I wish we still had some of these test sculpts where everybody was. We did these sort of fast little sprints of like sort of testing some approaches to how do we accomplish these adjectives we're trying to get, and did some crystal tests of crystal caverns and all that fun stuff. But the big drivers were, I think, trying to fix some of the things that didn't work well in the old caverns, as well as introducing moisture everywhere. Like wet was one of our things, overhanging, and trying to have a foreground, a midground, and a background on as many pieces as possible.
Yeah.
You remember any of the other big guiding principles?
Yeah, well,
or, like,
definitely that the overhanging walls. You know, we
Yeah.
made the walls thicker with the sense of a start of a ceiling curving over,
Yeah.
and that was definitely important.
Oh, and figuring out the little, like, what are the outside of rock and puddles? Like, what are the other features? It was like sort of defining what are the mushrooms, dwarvenite deposit, right? Figuring out what dwarvenite deposits
Yeah.
looked like, figuring out.
Just flowstone and how that really works. Because one of the dangers with any kind of natural form, but that's a big one, I think, because there's some very kind of iconic shapes that flowstone takes, is that you can kind of get one that looks good, and then you can just try to repeat that, but it's not any natural form. It's not like doing human anatomy, where once you understand how a hand works, every hand is kind of the same. But every flowstone is not the same because the flow is different and what it's landing on
How
is
it
different, and the
forms.
actual minerals it's working with. So even if you know that something forms a fan or a column or whatever, every single one should feel like an individual that formed a slightly different
And I
way.
think that was one of the things that didn't work as well in the original Caverns sculpts, was that there was a lot of homogeneous feel. That a lot of the flowstone was kind of just like, oh, we're doing the flowstone stamper.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you were really like, I feel like you did like a whole mini class on like
Yes,
how flowstone forms and whatnot.
And
So-
then likewise, just the limestone, kind of the base stone.
Pull up.
That was when we really kind of.
You were
Something
really
I was
into-
obsessive
yeah.
about. Like, okay, we need to
Something- you were
understand
obsessive
our
with everything, but
Yeah.
specifically at that point it was the
stone. Yeah, because and one thing that's great about limestone, I keep grabbing,
I know,
is it breaks in horizontal layers frequently. You know, it's a sedimentary stone, and therefore it's good for breaking up into grids and for making flat places for minis to stand on.
Yeah.
And it also happens to be what you often find caves in because it erodes. So that's all great, but just making sure we kind of really understood, okay, how does limestone work? What does that look like? You know, and
that was also we'd done Aranthor Mountains in castles, and you were really insistent that those be limestone, or
so that they
limestone
could work
also
with it.
said there was a continuity. They would be above the caverns or whatever. So there was like there's a continuity in stone.
Yeah, so you could build them together. But that was something where Stefan and I were kind of going back and forth a bit. Like we kept taking things and tinkering with them. And
You're like,
so
it doesn't look like limestone. Right?
yeah. So anyways, yeah.
But this was finally just there was no Stefan meddling. There's no whatever. You could just like do the stone right and like establish the sort of the new look for caverns. So like you could sort of see. So this was the original caverns wall, and this was the new caverns wall. I think you did this proof of concept piece. It was one of the very first pieces to try and say, all right, we're doing uneven floors was one of the, change it, like everything shouldn't be perfectly flat because it's caves. We were trying to make it so playable, but trying to add that variance in height, the moisture, right, having pools, and then you sort of see like we've got the foreground is this raised bit, the midground is here, and then the background is this depth, and then the overhang, right? The wall has like has a hint of overhang there to sort of imply that claustrophobic feel. And I think fixing the floor, the stone, the grid was a big deal too. I feel like you spent a lot of time looking at how, like, what would those, how do we improve, what was it? Oh, here. Comparing the original floor thing. And what was fun is it was all additive. Right? We were trying to make sure that you could use your original pieces, but like, can we offer some new options that are going to open up? Because with organic building, the more options you have, the better.
Yeah, we wanted to honor the original stuff, so it all kind of worked together, but just ratchet up the realism a bit, I guess, and yeah, just give it some fun variety. I mean, I would still love to do another whole run of new walls and new corners and stuff.
Would anybody be into another run of brand new Caverns stuff?
Should
we get a
corner
kit?
E, G, and F? Yeah, E, F, G.
But this is a sort of a fun example of going from this was the original Caverns floor to the new base Caverns deep floor. And of course, this one was flat, even though we were trying to do variants and everything. You need something that's perfectly flat to build on top of and whatnot. But like figuring out how to do the squares so they felt more organic was a big deal. I think a big sort of breakthrough where you really had this wonderful asymmetry.
Realizing, you could go off of it a bit, and you still know there's 4.
Yeah, so that was a fun discovery. So then, this was the other. This was like the first special kind of floor, which was that has all the core concepts of irregular height and moisture and sense of overhang. Right, this is little stalagmite because something's above is dripping down on it. How do you find the flow on like a thing like this? Like, also, there's probably going to be this was there was a lot of cross-pollination in the sculpting in this period too, where people were passing off sculpts like crazy, where it was like, this is probably more than any other project, multiple people were touching a lot of pieces. And there were a lot of pieces, right? Remember that we had a gridded, a gridded whiteboard, or 2 of them on the wall did a little overhead picture of every piece in their families, wherever, so we can sort of see the flow of like, what does the lineup look like and what are the purple star pieces. So there were, anything that happened in high multiples needed to be generic enough that you could repeat a bunch. But then things that we were like, well, you're probably not going to have 3 of these in a row. They got to be a purple star. So it was like, okay, this one is going to be special. I like purple, so instead of a gold star, it's purple. So this one is like something that's going to be unique, so it can have some extra weird, specific, thoughtful touches, or some real distinct character, like the little orange lizard on the convex and stuff like that. All right, so then we had, where's one I want? I've got a random collection of fun stuff. So this was I thought a classic
that was
Elye.
That was a favorite.
So we needed a secret door, right? Yeah. So we had the original Caverns had a secret door that was a little lazy in its design, in that it was just this wall with a hinge on the bottom, so the whole wall would turn. And it was like, what was neat was, okay, it looks exactly like this wall, so it was, it stopped metagaming. But you could see the line on the bottom, and it didn't feel magical, right? Like it wasn't like this neat discovery. So you were tasked with like making a new, like, how do we make a secret door that's actually secret? How did you approach to that?
Oh gosh, well, I mean, I realized it wanted to be like a big, I don't know, I was imagining probably the bit in The Hobbit where Bilbo and the dwarves wake up and there's a crack in the back of the wall of the cave that's just opened up, and it's just like some boulder has just shifted aside, and what would do that? And so I think I started with the armature, which you kind of have to figure out on something like this. How is it gonna work? And thought, okay, I need to make it a big honking boulder, so it feels like. And it feels a little magical, because how is this boulder just sliding aside? That either it's someone, a real master craftsman, put a hinge on that thing that weighs 1.5 tons, so that you can just push it and it moves, or it's something magical is moving it, so.
Or it's been 3 days and the Lord has risen.
Or that,
out of the cave for,
Yeah.
And thou shalt move, O rock. Whoop.
Yeah.
Yeah. But and then
So it's the Easter door.
I've never thought of it in that context before, but yeah.
Yeah.
And then even this way, like it's fun, just if you have it just a little bit of jar, you get this fun crack here, So
I
it
feel
kind
like
of
you
works.
spent a lot of time
Mhm.
trying to make the seams as hidden as possible.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
so
my
that it could
players have
be-
never noticed this whenever I put this in, and maybe mine aren't the most observant, but still, I'm proud of that. Like no one has ever been like, oh,
in their
that's a-"
defense, there's so much variance in the
Mhm.
rocks. It's
Mhm.
hard. I feel like it's harder to spot. Like this is probably the hardest secret door. Well, the bookshelf is pretty impossible too, but except it's very distinct
Once you know it,
Yeah,
yeah.
this one is even once you know it, it's hard to spot in the lineup because
Yeah.
there's so much rock variance. It's like,
Yeah.
I guess we need to make plain bookcases.
yeah.
Yeah.
6 other bookcases that
Yeah.
3 of them also have secret doors, so you don't know which one is the.
Yeah.
The corner secret door from Dungeon of Doom is the king, I think.
That's a good
That
one.
one
too.
is brutal.
We've had
Yeah.
dozens of people contacted saying, "Hey, I got an extra corner, but I'm missing the secret corner door." It's like, look again.
Flip it over.
Yeah.
Look at the skew.
Yeah.
The one with the different skew is the secret door.
We had a guy
Yeah.
once that was convinced it was a different, had the right skew, but he didn't think it was a secret door. Must have been misprinted. Like, no, it's a guy.
So this piece is available in the store, I believe. I don't know if we're sold out or not, but it will be in Caverns Reforged. We'll have a whole. It's in at least 2 packs. It's in the Caverns
It's
mega. The Caverns Core Mega Pack has a secret door. I don't know if the pack that had just the doors is.
Wasn't it- there
It's
was a
in the
Doors
Doors pack
set.
as
Yeah,
well.
that was a
But
great.
is
That was a
is
great
available
set.
in the store currently?
No, it's a
Yeah.
new composition. Well, I guess maybe the old composition's available.
There
Maybe
might
it's in
still be
that.
an old one on the. If you search secret door, I bet it'll come
I'll
up.
check that real
Yeah.
quick.
But it's in the core mega because it's just so cool. And it will be there's a whole pack that'll.
Yeah, the cave door pack is in stock, and there's 2 of them in that. Yeah.
There's a lot of cool doors in Caverns, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a fun one. So that was a heck of a. And I feel like also you had to sculpt it in 2 pieces,
Mhm.
and we didn't know if it was 100% going to line up. Like it was like a there was going back to Chris's Jesus reference. Like we had to have some faith, right? We had some
Yeah.
blind
Yeah.
faith that that this was
Yeah,
gonna-
because that was
gonna
before
work
we
out.
could just digitally nudge things around a bit.
Yeah,
I had
no,
to get
it was
just.
all analog. Like,
True.
and it had, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good one. Alright, so then, what other fun bits? This is the. Wait, do we look at the walls? Oh, here was a. I don't know if you did this stalagmite or not. I can't remember. But I thought it was a neat kind of illustration of the different approach between for the flowstone for the stalagmites and whatnot. Like this was an original Caverns stalagmite, which has a bunch of character, and then this was like a new approach.
Yeah,
What was the?
I
what were you
didn't. I
trying to
didn't do
accomplish?
this one actually. I
Nina
think
did
this
that,
was
right?
Nina. Yeah.
Although you certainly sculpted no shortage of.
Yeah,
stalagmites.
yeah. I mean, it's just this. You can feel. I mean, because the way these sort of columns form is basically the mineral drips down. The mineral drips down and builds up and sort of pulls out and cascades over the edge until you get the point where it's accumulating and then it forms a. Originally it's just this flat thing, and it gets to the point where suddenly there's a second tower building.
How
and then,
long does that take? Like, what's the order
Well,
of magnitude
actually,
we're talking? Like,
it really varies tremendously. Like there were bridges in Acadia National Park, stone bridges that were built in like around 1900 that have actual stalactites on them
wow.
because they get a lot of rain. They're out in the open,
Yeah.
and that particular mineral of the stone there. Whereas other ones may take 100,000 years or more, depending on
There's
what's.
a bridge that I jog under has like pencil thin stalactites hanging under it and like maybe 1/4 inch high stalagmites forming underneath it. And I don't
yeah.
think it's been there for less than 100 years.
Yeah. So yeah, it really varies wildly depending on the flow of the water, the minerals, and so on and so forth.
That would be
This would probably be quite a while. Yeah. And then sometimes, you get these actual pools, and just like, well, as I know well, since I have a dirt driveway at my home in Vermont, water gets into something. When it splashes out, it carries bits of the dirt with it, so that you then have a pothole. And so that can happen here, where drips and drips. But at a certain point, it can't splash far enough, and then you get a rim around it, and then that closes in, and then it builds up
And then
again.
the next layer, and that's why
Yeah.
you get that
Yeah.
shape. That the,
But you get those kind of neat little pots sometimes that can hold minerals. Yeah.
I love those little pots.
So they're just really tall potholes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Really
These
tall.
layered
yeah.
potholes layered on top of each other.
Yeah.
Anti potholes.
Yeah.
All right, here's. Well, you got a question?
I got a cool idea with the secret door.
Oh no.
You got like a passageway going through, and you've got 2 secret doors set up on the side here.
Yeah.
You hit a switch or something, both of the secret doors open, and they're blocking the
Oh,
initial
it
passageway.
changes the whole. Now you have
And
to go
now it's-
perpendicular.
Yeah.
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 Oh yeah, that would totally
Like
work.
you just have the doors open because they go to a full
Yeah.
90-degree angle, and they can just block
it
off the
seals
pathway
off
they were
the
taking.
Next,
Yeah. I mean, you
Yeah.
could also use this to like mash somebody,
yeah.
right? I mean,
True, also that. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
Well,
An ice secret door is coming in Caverns Reforged. That's one of the things we're doing.
All of these things are going to be available in all 3 colors: standard, ice, and Underdoom. No
Yes.
Hellscape in this run because it's a different casting color, but everything's going to be in 3 colors. So here's another
Yeah, that was-
fun
that
piece:
was
was the
really neat.
big natural bridge. And I was pulling it out as an example of a purple star piece, right? Because this thing, I mean, yeah, you can chain a couple together, but generally it was going to be a solo thing. So it had to be, could have a lot of character. And I loved the little thoughtful touch you put underneath it. I thought was a fun.
Yeah, I did a lot of these fossils. There's like a whole dragon fossil on the entrance riser. And there's the bat on the Stairway to Violence here. And yeah.
But how do you tackle like a piece that is 360 like this, right? So this you did an epoxy?
Yeah, I think I did this mostly in epoxy sculpt, actually, rather than green stuff. Why did I do that specifically? I mean, you have a little longer work time with that, which is nice. And also, it's just pure epoxy sculpt. You can really shave it down if you want. I don't think I actually did that much on this, but it's because it gets green stuff. Those of you who are interested in sculpting, pure green stuff retains a little bit of softness and elasticity, and so it's not really good for sanding or scraping or cutting when you're done. Epoxy sculpt gets very hard. It's brittle, but if you want something where you just want to like literally sort of shave a razor edge on something, you want a spire or a sword or something, I often mix the two to get something that has a little bit more resilience, like the green stuff, but you can still shave it or scrape it down to get a really tough surface.
I feel like you like to do some aftermarket, like after sculpt things, like you would do these shaving or carving or like
certain things, like say you want
cracks in a thing.
say you
or
want
stuff
carved runes
Yeah.
maybe in something, or like I do this sometimes with boards, like a dock or something where you want kind of twisty, uneven wood that's maybe warped a little bit. And the epoxy stuff will tend to round a little bit as it hardens up. It doesn't
Gets
quite say
puffy a
that,
little
it gets slightly puffy. And so you can kind of shave it and give it the effect of being like hewn down if it's, a hand hewn thing.
Right, because you're literally hewing.
You're literally hewing it. Yeah, well, the closer you can mimic the actual process that created something, or like carving runes,
Yeah.
I'll often actually
Just
carve the
carve
runes
it.
because that's a good way to mimic carving.
You're a method sculptor.
So-
Yeah, there you go.
So did you sculpt this all in one go, or was it like you sculpt like the base shape and then you do the stalactites on after that hardens?
I would have
layered,
done
wasn't it?
probably at least 3 phases. So get a core shape, make an armature which is not just, I think in this case it was some wires I had, and then get some wires and get some epoxy on it, so it's just a slightly smaller, thinner version of this thing.
It's around like the footprint that you need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then once that's hardened up, nice and rock hard and solid, it's not going to move on me, then I might cut off bits anywhere I think it's sticking out, and you just get it to make sure it's within the contours of what I want the final piece to be. And then I'll do probably one side so I can hold it from the other side, not smush it, and then flip it. And then I might even add the flow stone as a third layer because that's a separate process, again, kind of mimicking what happens naturally. The flow stone is going to drip onto there, so it's easier to get that separation of the kind of the quality of the stone and how it sits on there if you do it as a separate step. So Yeah. So probably they were. I don't remember exactly, but I think he was probably roughly 4 stages of doing this. Maybe even more because I wanted time to work, and it does harden up after a certain point. But something like that.
Yeah, you can't do too much in one sitting.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
run out of
So I might have done
working
like
time.
one half, the other half, bottom, flow stone, something like that.
All right, here's this was, and these are actually not in. They're not going to be in Caverns Reforged, but I think it was fun to look at. Was the banks, approaching the banks, and this one actually we had too many pieces in Caverns Deep, so we had cut the large banks. Were all sculpted and then got cut, and we moved them to Hellscape. But we did do the small banks initially. So that was the big drive, was to try and do negative space, right? How can we do negative space there? What was the approach for going down, like figuring out the pitch and the how those were going to transition down to table level?
This is another one that Nina and I both worked on. I think she actually did a lot of the work on this. So
Drew even was.
Drew might have maybe
some of
he
the,
started them, and then she and I finished them because
you did the short. I feel like
I might
there
have-
was
I
a
might have
proof of
also done,
concept where he was
like,
the
I
long
think-
straight. There was some. I feel like you did a proof of concept on
this one feels more like me here.
getting the.
I'm pretty sure this was me.
Figuring out the pitch.
Yeah.
And then the team iterated out. And,
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, part of the trick here is it depends a little bit where this is. Is it the edge of an abyss or is it the edge of a pool?
and that was part of the challenge, is they needed to be the edge of the abyss and the edge of a pool and the edge of an acid pond and the edge transitioning onto the top of a cliff, or like the cave cliffs going down, or just transitioning like straight from your floors transitioning up, whatnot. It was like definitely it was tackling a lot.
Yeah. So, I mean, here we're definitely thinking about just these edge pieces, whether this is either crumbling into a void or whether it's kind of washing into something, it's less stable here. So the pieces are smaller and they're starting to tilt because they're maybe getting undercut by stuff falling away down into the pit or stuff getting washed out or burned out by acid or whatever it is. So definitely, a sense of scale, a sense of tipping. Those are probably the biggest things as far as what you're seeing here. You definitely see this rock is going this way, and maybe this bit here is even actually kind of the original strata was going up, and then suddenly it's falling off here, and that provides us a bit of a sense of movement, which makes it feel maybe a little more unstable, which is fun.
Fun angles.
Yeah.
It's also, this is the first time I think, and it's somewhat subtle in here, get a little more pronounced in the Underdoom, but Aaron is really into, paint-wise, was really into trying to add a different tone to the edge of the leading edge of the banks to help accentuate that it's a different angle and then help make whatever's beneath it pop. And in this case, there was a gloss to make it feel wet. In addition to the little green, so it's like that's a theme that's carried through a whole bunch of the banks ever since.
Yeah, and it looks great at the edge of any kind of pool, or even if it's an abyss, maybe there's just a moist exhalation from below of whatever's down
Moist
there.
exhalation. We need a giveaway word. Right? Are we at a?
Hang on, let me change the word.
Oh no, you can use a different word.
No, it's I already changed it.
All
All right, if
right.
you want a chance to win a $50 Dwarven Forge gift card, type moist exhalation, all one word, into chat.
Don't forget
MOISTEXHALATION, I believe.
This is why we
moist
do this
exhalation.
show live, because you never know where you're gonna go.
Yep, go ahead and put that in the chat, all one word.
This, I don't know if you.
Why? Don't
if
ask
you
me
sculpted
why.
on
I didn't choose this.
This was one of my this is
I
one of
didn't
my
choose
favorite
it.
pieces from the whole line. And what I thought it'd be a neat vehicle to talk about was a little bit of the approach on, since this is the big convex, right? People can't see how turning organic shapes, like trying to, like, at the end of the day, this has to be like a right angle and a straight wall and whatever. How do you approach these? I mean, it's kind of similar to that little bridge thing. Like, these weird organic shapes that need to do, it has to do a very specific thing, but it needs to feel like it has a flow. How do you break that down with these? Like,
Well, I mean, it's something like this is actually kind of freeing. I mean, the base, obviously, we're kind of doing the same gag we're doing with any 2x2 floor, but here you have some more freedom. So
because it's so larger and
it's larger, and it's not actually a perfect 90.
yeah.
It's hard to fit a perfect 90 into a natural form or vice versa. Whereas here, you're like, okay, well, as long as the two ends line up with something, in between, you can't bump into this, but you've got some freedom there. So, yeah, no, I think that's again, this one, I think this was mostly
think it was a
Nina,
Nina
and then
piece,
I tinkered with it a bit maybe, but so I don't have a lot specifically to say about the undertaking. But most of the cavern stuff, I ended up just kind of doing like a final pass to homogenize stuff a bit.
Yep.
So like I don't know, I feel like I might have messed around with this here, but this interesting column, but
I have one. I'm
yeah.
pretty sure you did because of the
Mhm.
thoughtful touches.
Mhm.
Do you remember? Did you do this guy? I was thinking you did because of the bug,
Yeah.
which was a very Eli thing.
Mhm.
So the passages.
Yeah.
So we wanted to do the big old passages, right? The original Caverns had the narrow passages where they were hard to play in. And these were harkening back to the really cool resin, right? The old big resin. Like there were some really beautiful passages in the old resin bits. And I feel like one of the challenges with this was trying to get the sense of overhang, right, but still be castable and playable. Maybe we start with the small. And I thought you did this too, but I don't know. I can't remember. It was.
Yeah. I specifically remember that funny long, because this is an example of one like not just being a cookie cutter, like this weird long spiraling stalactite here. It's not particularly like any of the other ones, and I just wanted to do something that was, had its own distinct personality. Likewise here, sometimes you see how they will kind of flow together as you get two starting.
What are these things called? They're like jellyfish looking things.
I mean, it's what that is it's sort of a pebbling of the drips, kind of making a zillion mini stalactites. And it was.
You don't know that? Wait, is this a word you don't know, Eli? There's got to be a term for that, right?
There's got to be. There probably is a word for the funny, crusty stuff on the top of. I mean, I think you'd call this a fan-shaped stalactite or fan-shaped glowstone. But if you're asking about the little pebbly bits on top, I don't know. I think just fans are what they call them. Yeah. Actually, it's not that. But
spelled P-H-A-Y-N or something.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, but yeah, like here, these are a couple relatively conventional fans, except this one's got a bit of a downward angle to it, and so the stuff is coming over the edge, dipping back this way, and then gravity gets it and goes straight down, and there's a couple bits where they flow together.
So this one's sculpting, you're thinking of how is the water flowing, and why there's like it's a little pinball machine to drive that.
Yeah, and then this one is kind of am I on camera? Yeah, this one here is kind of an interesting one where this fan is coming out of this fan. So you almost have part of a column here. You kind of got multiple fans. So this is another example of trying to be, just have something that's unique. That's not just stick an eyebrow on there or whatever, and then it kind of goes in this little one at the bottom that's just lumpy. You almost don't really see the icicle type shapes, but it's just got some personality to it.
And it still has to be castable.
It still has to be castable, yeah. And they how did they actually do this one? Some of it is our factory.
This is one piece.
This is one piece. Wow.
Yeah. No, that's madness.
Yeah. So this is madness. I don't know how they did this. I mean, honestly, at this point, this was still the point where we weren't
running anything by them.
Yeah, you were kind of like, do it and they'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, sure.
Because they
were really good at.
They leveled up at that point. They had leveled up with us. They'd lived through castles. They'd gone through a list of stuff. They were like, they had some tricks. Someone has to see this lineup. Here. Oh wait, it helps if it's on camera.
Yeah.
This no accident here. This lines up really nice.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a just.
And we have a nice transition piece also that goes between this.
Yeah.
And that.
So Nowadays we do if we come up with something crazy, we'll run it by them first. We'll be
Yeah.
like, hey,
We're getting much
are
better
you gonna
at
hate us
communicating
forever?
with them
Yeah.
about, hey, we're doing this complicated piece.
Yeah.
What is this? Or, you know, do you see any trouble with this or
Yeah.
whatnot? So this,
Here they
big
did this
guy,
as a
what
separate
yeah.
chunk. Yeah. So this one,
This was one of the really fun purple starry.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you? What's the fun when you had a piece like this where it's like, okay, this is a purple star.
Mm-hmm.
It's big. You can go nuts. And we're trying to channel some of that fun of the old resin where it was just really winding and wild. Like, what do you get to do when you have one like this where you can kind of really be full throttle?
First of all, you kind of have to hit your marks, you know, to throw in an acting metaphor where this has to fit the door and the arch. So this end is the tricky end, and then from here it can go wild. So here, yeah, I mean, I think just thinking about what makes it feel kind of narrow, like the cave itself is encroaching. You've got these cascading pools. This is another fun one where I did sort of a fun,
up a little
you know,
bit.
it's echoing back to the old cascading pools, but just trying to make that, you know, it's somewhere between, well, it's kind of in the same vein of how this was formed, you know, water flowing down and leaving residue. And then a little bit of it on this side, but it just sort of feels like it's kind of getting in there. And then here, thinking about, you know, a place to stick a MacGuffin or something, you know, you've got this flat spot where it's a little higher up. So you could even also have someone climbing up out of this corner to a higher level.
It could be an entrance down.
Yeah, it could be an entrance down.
This was, sorry, someone was asking if this was a Perilous piece. Yes, this is a cave entrance piece from Perilous that is designed to transition you nicely into caves. If you'd like.
Yeah, and the piece that goes behind it, there's also one that's 2 inches wide.
We haven't shown them that yet.
Okay, I mentioned
that's
it,
okay,
but yeah, and that I specifically looked at a lot of these pieces for the floor of that to make it, you know.
So there's some
extra
sculpting,
cavey.
some transition sculpting in there, so it can line you up.
Couple little stalactites. So if you want to just use it as a canyon, it's nothing too wild. It's something that might form in an exposed place. But if you want it to run into a cave, that works nicely. Yeah.
What was I know we sort of figured
bug,
out mushrooms and dwarvenite vein. Like, what was the mushroom? What was the driver behind the mushrooms? Do you remember?
Well, just, you know, partly it's the idea of this being a wet spot, right? And you know, it's again, purple star. It's something interesting. Like, we couldn't put mushroom clusters everywhere, or we'd start feeling it was just sort of big fungus caves. But here and there, you know,
just enough to like, keep you.
Just
another little vehicle for color.
Yeah.
A chance, because the particularly the original Caverns got very monotonous, where it was very beige everywhere. So we were looking for little vehicles to just add spots of color, little fun.
Yeah,
fun
and then
critters.
this is the same creature that's in the pit of bugs, which I also did that was in the Hag's Den.
Pit of bugs?
That pit of bugs. Yeah. So I thought, why not stick one of those somewhere else? Like, what if one got
we
out?
showed it last week, didn't we? The
Where did it
blue.
go?
Have you seen it in ice? Check it out.
No, I
Keep
haven't.
going. Keep
Yeah.
talking.
Scrap
But
the
anyways, yeah.
Underdunes
So
one
because I
too, if you
did
can.
these were interesting. I actually originally
Oh
made.
yeah, we had the Underdoom there.
I sculpted one of these things. I made a mold out of green stuff to use to kind of stamp the clay, and then I would hand sculpt them and tinker with them beyond that. But so these were kind of like multi-phase creations, all these little demon grubs. And it was actually a pretty time-consuming little piece because they all need fairly specific details, even though you don't generally look at them very closely unless you're painting it. Like, they need to feel right when you do look closely. Oh yeah, cool. So ice grubs, yeah. And I assume they'll be the same blue on this guy and the ice version of this then.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, I wanted to stick one of those on there just for fun. And
Check
this
this
one
out.
actually is nice and bright, so you won't
That's
miss
what
it.
I have here.
Ooh.
That's your original.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, you have a mix of the
Yep.
epoxy and green stuff. Right?
Yeah. So this is a pure epoxy sculpt, and then this is two different mixes of green stuff.
Tilt it up a little bit.
Two different mixes of green stuff plus epoxy sculpt, where it's not the really bright green, but this one is mostly, well, this is probably
This is
like,
mostly green stuff, and then this is the mix of
Yeah.
green stuff and epoxy. That's why it gets paler.
yeah.
And look at the precisely marking out your 2x2 square. That was our.
Yeah.
That was it. That was our guideline. You had
Yeah.
a pencil line, and if you're over that, well.
Yeah.
That's why some things aren't square.
Yeah. But yeah, no,
Did you do the outside first and then put the grubs
Yeah.
in?
I generally do
fun.
that. I'll get my anything, again, that has to be very precise. I'll try and get it exact and then work from there.
And
But-
the challenge on this was it needed to fit underneath the false floor lid. So
Right.
it couldn't have too much verticality, but you wanted to have that sense of depth, like it was a pit of rot grubs. So it's
Yeah.
like you did the illusion pretty well. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty well, I mean very well. Like, yeah, it's awesome. I think
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I've done some like the spike trap is another one of those where
Yeah.
like trying to make it feel like it's got some depth, even though
I'll tell you,
know,
the skeleton in that spike check, everybody loves that. Like, that's the detail everybody loves.
yeah, the spike right up through his.
Amy is thanking you for all these details. It was
Oh,
really fun
well,
to
you're
paint.
very welcome. Yeah,
Quite the
they're
painter.
fun to sculpt too, of course. Yeah, that's the fun
Do we
stuff.
roll the giveaway?
I just rolled it, and it seems like a first-time winner. I don't think.
Cool.
Yeah.
Is it just
congrats.
pronounced? Is it just pronounced leisure? 1401, or is that?
Legion.
Am I spelling it
Um,
right? Yeah. All right, congratulations. I'm gonna whisper you. We need to get your email so we can
secret
send you the
info.
gift card, and that's basically it. Sending you a whisper.
maybe.
Look for a notification somewhere on your Twitch screen, depending on if you're mobile or
Definitely a seam on
desktop.
this one. Like
you'll be
this
getting a
one.
little DM from me, basically.
Or it's a three-piece mold, or the mold slides.
Yeah.
The Crystal Caverns were our big. So we had a number of big reveals in Caverns. The biggest being we had a whole forest, which is there was that. But the Crystal Caverns were in terms of caves, like that was our big deal. I mean, obviously, also we had Underdoom and Ice that we were doing, and all the other bits. But like figuring out, I feel like the crystals were a thing that you were very specific again
whole forest.
about. Trying to figure out the geometry of like what types of crystals, like how do these form, what do they feel like, and why. And then I think they were, if I recall, they were sculpted in green stuff. Like
Yes.
the
That's another
base
example
was-
of something where we'd want to be able to shave it and
Get
cut
it
it in
really,
very
like,
super
angular.
exact. Yeah.
what
So,
was the approach to trying to figuring out the crystals?
Well, yeah, these were interesting because we did the crystals as green stuff pieces, and then we fit them into monster clay because we wanted the clay to be. Whenever you change mediums, you can keep stuff looking like this. This matches this stuff fine, but it's a little more work to get it all to match, and because we knew we'd want the clear as a separate. I guess this ended up being a clear top, isn't it? That they ended up mask.
Yeah.
I'm sure the painters hated us for this.
Oh yeah. No, these
Yeah.
the factory does not enjoy painting these.
But yeah, this was kind of like a puzzle box type of thing, actually, where we had to make crystals that would slide in and out, so they could be removable. Because at the time we thought they were going to be pulling the crystals out to cast them separately.
Yeah, and they're like, no, we're just going all in. Like,
Yeah. But anyway, so there was a lot of that. So we'd take them out, shave them, and adjust them, and put them in. And yeah, just there's an amazing thing. If anyone hasn't seen pictures of this, somewhere in Mexico, there's this. Pretty sure it's Mexico. That giant crystal cave, yeah, which has crystals that are literally like 25 feet long, and it's far enough down that it's like 125. It's like down enough where it's getting hot.
Yeah.
So you have to wear like a cold suit to go down there.
Whoa.
But anyways, go Google that. It's absolutely
It looks fake,
it's
so
stunning.
people-
Yeah,
there are people walking on.
yeah. It looks like someone photoshopped somebody into
the
but
scale is
yeah,
outrageous.
yeah,
This is wild. Hang on.
yeah. Amazing stuff. Anyway, so that was sort of inspired, just like really big crystals.
So Amy is asking about ice crystals. So our big sort of stretch goal for Caverns Reforged, the big one is crystal caverns in ice. We have some pieces painted. We showed one last week, I think. Maybe we'll show another one.
We showed one of
some
them.
point.
We showed one of the small 2x2 pieces, I believe.
Dragus is
That would be
asking
great.
if we have any brand new pieces.
Yeah.
No. So everything is going to just be. In Caverns, will all brand new pieces or pieces in new paint schemes be clearly and easily identifiable? Like, we're gonna have a Reforged tag on packs that have. I guess no, this doesn't have necessarily new pieces. Wow, that's
Looks fake.
wild. Yeah, it totally looks fake. Those are miniatures.
That looks fake, 100%.
It's
yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
We have, yeah, we'll have to get an easy list for you. In general, there are new packs. Like the Narrow Passages pack will have the remastered Narrow Passages pieces with Corner A, which we hadn't done previously. That's remastered, and the Mine Entrance, which was remastered. The Stalagmites, all the repainted Stalagmites will be in a pack together. What else did we remaster? All of the Ice and Underdoom is a little more all over the place, although it's generally like the Cave Cliffs are brand new in Ice, so all those packs are just new to Cave Cliffs packs.
The nice thing is we will have a bundle that is just all of the remastered KS2 sculpts together.
Yeah.
So those are going to have one bundle to get all of that. The thing is, the Reforged tag is going to be on any new set, whether
Anything
it
that's
is
reconfigured or
yeah. So like it may not necessarily have like new paint schemes in it, but like the Cave Doors pack is being reconfigured. I think it will have some new stuff in it. But yeah, I would look at anything that has like the Reforged tag on the graphic and just see like if you've got that thing or not.
It's hard. New paint scheme is easier, I think. The new sculpts is hard because none of it's new sculpts, right? So some of them have been remastered, and I wonder. We should have had a little paintbrush in the corner of any of the new paint scheme, like anything that was new in Ice, new in Underdoom pack. Maybe we should.
We could also, if you don't want to ask graphics to do it, we could also just add it to the description of everything.
Yeah, it's just harder because then you have to click into each one. But yeah. I'll ask the teacher tomorrow if there's an easy way to just put it in. Because it is going to be hard. There are a lot of new packs, and it might be hard to identify what's new and what's not. Yeah, they did require some work in Caverns in Dungeons to find the new bit. There are not going to be any transition pieces from Ice to Underdoom currently slated. Paul wants to, how do we remember what DF pieces we already bought? The challenge with transition painted pieces is people tend to only need one of them or two of them, and we have to do these high orders. They've never sold like crazy. And then when we sell out, then everybody wants them, but you only want one or two, and it's a weird. I don't know how we best navigate that.
It's a very expensive thing to have a couple people want one of when we need to print like 500 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I certainly understand the desire because it is very pleasing when there's like that sort of that feel of that seamless transition from one thing to the other, like your whole world just flows like that.
Mm-hmm.
It is strange.
You could do these in
banks,
Ice and put them on top of Underdoom floors, and then they'll flow down reasonably well.
But people want the passage that transitions in. All right, one more piece I pulled out there. This is maybe it's cruel to pull this out because I don't think it's in stock currently in Verve, but it was a great showcase of one of the things you do really well, which was we were saying goodbye to Water Cavern, the cavern water tiles, and saying hello to banks. And so this was, hey, for all the folks that had water tiles, you need a transition that'll go from your water tiles to your banks, so you can open up. And it was a chance for you. It was a chance to do water tiles and finally actually had some water texture on them. B, like do the thing which you do so well, which is those fluid dynamics, like working around rocks and whatever.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this guy a little bit.
Sure. I mean, well, as you said, I loved it. Yeah.
You're not allowed to look at it while you die. Put it right.
Yeah.
You can touch it, just don't move it, so that people can see it.
Yeah. I mean, it's something that I love doing. This was a relatively early chance to do some of this stuff, actually.
Yeah.
I'd done some fire before, but I don't think I'd gotten to do water previously. And it's
a precursor to the Wildlands waterfall.
So when it's taking that, the style, this sort of slightly funny, bubbly things on the edge of the original
Yeah, what were those?
I mean, I think they're meant to be. I guess bubbles in sort of murky
Stone bubbles?
stone bubbles.
Is
But
that
they
a,
had to be there because
yeah.
we had to transition.
Yeah, it had to,
And I'm like, all right, let's do some water here, folks. Yeah, and then just I don't know. I love working with energy, and that's something that's okay. Well, I said earlier, it's great to mimic the way something actually is made when you're sculpting it. You can't really do that with something that's sort of a pure fluid form. I mean, water and clay are not that similar, but you can at least try to capture the flow and just kind of the movements of creating it should share that kind of energy as opposed to being kind of hard and abrupt. You want to and have it the way it glides around rocks and where you sense there being rocks underneath the surface and then it breaks up into the
applied
bubbles.
rocks.
Yeah,
Giving
yeah,
the,
yeah, or the way
yeah.
I mean,
water
I've
was
spent a fair amount of time just sitting by little streams in the woods and watching, and the way water moves over things that are hidden underneath it or between things that are squeezing it, really fascinating. Yeah, this is more just doing it by feel really than anything that deep I could say technically. Just
The other fun
Yeah,
bit on this is like you have the hint of
yeah.
banks here, right? So the idea was this wanted to transition
Right.
seamlessly into the
Yeah.
banks.
So again, it's getting a little crumbly here. It's going, there's not a lot of space to go from that old style into the new style. So
No.
I am rather pleased with how this worked out. Just kind of quickly breaking up and changing. And I mean, that is the nice thing about rock is like, a couple rocks a couple feet apart can be totally different in character, and it feels natural because that's the way rocks are. There's all sorts of weird stuff happens out there. But
Chuck's got
Oh,
a
yeah, yeah.
train tray for us.
yeah, thank you.
Into the water.
Yeah. So
Dungeon water. That was I remember as being a cool standout.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, I enjoyed that one.
It was
definitely.
the only thing with a hint of water tile in the campaign.
What I liked about this is that there is no clear on this piece. It's all just the paint.
Yeah, it's all opaque. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because again, we kind of had to work with that
Yep.
original,
The
greens
original
and
ones were
blues.
all
It's all just
opaque.
gray dwarfenite, but it looks like
Yeah.
Yeah.
it looks like there's something clear there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The gloss really, a lot of the paintwork really it came out really
Yeah.
well.
Mhm.
So it is a fun piece.
Yeah.
So that's all the bits I had. Was there any other pieces from Caverns you wanted to talk about? Here's a question: did you have a favorite? Did you have a favorite piece from the campaign?
I mean, the thing about Caverns Deep is there was also the start of the Wildlands, the Dread Hollow.
Yeah.
And that was
Yeah.
probably my
Okay,
very favorite
okay.
stuff. But leaving Dread Hollow aside,
That's
Dread
not
Hollow
that's
aside, so,
cheating. It's cheating.
yeah.
Of
Do
the
you have a favorite-
This one
Cavern-
was a great one. I really enjoyed the Stairway to Stairway to
Stairway to
Violence.
That's right,
Yeah, I mean, I got to do this little bat skeleton here. I feel like there's some really interesting flowstone, on the sides here. I spent a lot of time kind of shifting this around and finding interesting ways that, so they would all kind of work and feel reasonably natural. Like, well, for one example, I was looking at, like, depending on where you sit it, like, I wanted there to be usually be something for each stalactite to hit as it comes down, so this one lands here, if you move it in here, like this is kind of flowing together and these connect, within reason. I tried to give it from every angle a sort of plausible flow of flowstone.
Yeah.
So that was challenging, but also fun. I mean, I like the little cutout here because you can put different stuff up top, and I like the way you can have steps that stop and then kind of fall off into nothing, or that make it a natural.
What's wild is like in foam, it was like, all right, we'll just have some steps here and it'll look good, and somehow it made it look like actual, like like it's something you buy it, like it looks. Looks really, I actually have.
So yeah, that's definitely one of my favorites. I really enjoyed that one.
That was a real all-star from the.
Yeah, and I mean the various tunnel pieces. I think I did most of the tunnel stuff, and I really enjoyed those. else?
Tunnel meaning passages.
Yeah, these guys. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's all sort of.
Out of all the passages, is that one your favorite, or which one has the most pleasing
I'd have
shape?
to look at them all together. I don't think I have any like particular or special favorite among these. Just generally those were fun to work. Oh wow,
I
yeah,
saved the foam mock because I was
Yeah.
proud of this one. It was like
yeah.
it was a heck of a.
Well, I mean, it's
it was
pretty
a
cool.
lot,
Like,
a lot of geometry.
Yeah.
Kind of,
yeah, you got
wrap
more
around.
and more sophisticated with your foam
Yeah.
stuff, and by this point, it was
this was starting to hit the
Yeah.
hit the stride.
yeah, and you got all the different heights labeled. That was
yeah.
another thing. These aren't just like random, like
It's a
trying to
fun-
make them look variable with some different rocks,
There's-
but also
The millimeters are written
Yeah.
on there. You can see
Yeah.
like 50 millimeters, 38 millimeters. To sort of indicate there's some very specific heights that that the areas need to hit. Like each of these stairs had a specific height. So it was really important in terms of it lining up with the other pieces, like those measurements. Or still do that, like put measurements on or premeditate it before you build the thing of like, okay, this thing is going to need to be X, Y, and Z.
yeah,
LED
LEDs.
socket
yeah,
mark, yeah.
yeah, and then you can see where I changed maybe some of the locations where the stalactites were to make the flow better, but yeah, the general. I mean, it's a nice form. This is a satisfying shape. So.
Someone was asking if we made stuff out of foam. We do a lot of mocks, like before you do this was weeks of sculpting, I think. Like before you commit to the sculpting, you figure out the geometry either in 3D or in foam or just in rough clay. Just some way to kind of make sure that it's going to do what it needs to do and plays with the other pieces.
Yeah, because you can take this thing and build around it with existing pieces, and be like,
And
okay,
this is the same height as
yeah.
elevation blocks, so you can line up here, and like you was trying to make sure it integrates modularly with the rest of the system physically, like test it out and make adjustments. Like this, I think you can see like the original, right? Originally it was curved here, and I actually added this foam back on so it would have a hard edge so that it could lean up, it could go sit up against other elevation blocks or whatnot, so you could build off of it, and so you'd have some sort of smooth transition. So like you can iterate quickly and easily in foam. It's cheap, and then once that's working, then spend the weeks to actually turn that into a real sculpt.
Yeah, and nowadays sometimes we do that digitally, but often there's still a foam first precursor, and then I'll whip up a digital model, and then we'll print that if we want to try a few different, because like this is faster in some ways, but then if I want to do 6 variations where there's a wider top and a shorter top and whatever, I can just go boom, and then we can print.
The digital iterations are wild. Like being able to just sort of do six variations quickly and sort of see what lands is like, it's really been revolutionary for the process.
Yeah.
All right, so we got a little bit of time left. You had a secret mission you were thinking of trying.
Well, I was,
how ambitious are you feeling?
I'll do something, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, the idea was maybe to just mod something real quick. Like, suppose we wanna do, if you don't have enough different Caverns pieces and you want to do something new to customize, how would you do that? So I was thinking maybe I could mod something.
The
real quick.
important lesson here, the big picture of this is like, these are your pieces. Make them your own. Like, don't be afraid to make changes to your pieces, right? This is just because it's made in indestructible dwarfite doesn't mean you can't cut it or paint it differently or add something to it or do make them your own. Like, use these to tell your stories. These are tools. Like, don't be afraid to adjust them or mod them or do whatever. Like, this is like there's no law against trying something with these pieces.
Show the flats again, please. Next to stairway and passage. What do you mean flats?
What?
Show the flats again, please.
Flat.
Slide camera. Show the flats again. Which
What,
is it?
you
Like
mean the
the flat
flat
top of the stairway?
Edges of.
Of the stairway, I think.
Exactly.
Can you show how it lines up next to stairway and passage? If you just run a passage against the
sort of
A
put
50 millimeter height.
something like this.
how
is
they
that what you mean?
match.
Yeah.
What's that?
Like if you close off the passage to it, if you have like the end of the passage go.
Oh, like
Was
if it
that what you
like
wanted?
that or
How do
something?
you want us to arrange this? Yeah, like how?
Okay, they got it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, paint the rocks. Imi's a good example of this. Like she will take. She's done crazy paint jobs on her stuff where just like, just thinking outside the box and doing something really differently.
Yeah. There's no worries.
Dragos keeps them sealed and unopened in their original packaging for collectability. We have that very collectible packaging. I can see why you'd really want to keep it in those soggy cardboard boxes. Yeah.
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 But I mean, why don't I'll just grab my tools and I've got.
Yeah. So.
What kind of tools? What are we?
Yeah.
Oh well, I won't get into the tools too much since I did that in issue or edition or episode.
Not any like power though. Yeah.
Okay.
No part. Yeah. Well, I mean, we could drill and cut things. I mean, if I was going to do a big stalactite, say, on here, I would probably drill a couple holes in. I would probably stick in a bit of wire to give it.
Let's do a floor. Like it's something people would.
Okay, so yeah, what do we want, folks? What should we add to this floor?
Yeah, if you have if too many floors, you want to add some variety. What would you?
Like add a pole accessory
what would
hole.
you challenge. That is the thing I do often is just drill extra holes into things.
Yeah, I mean,
There are no pole
do
accessory holes in Caverns.
No,
It's like the one
strangely
biome.
enough, we did not do them, and they'd been invented. They were in castles.
Yeah.
And I can't remember why we didn't do any pole
We
accessory
weren't
holes.
thinking of them maybe as natural things so much at that
No,
point.
at that point. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was all like gargoyles and
Yeah,
heads on pikes and stuff.
yeah.
The I've
this
taken
one
like
is
the original lantern posts from castles, the stone ones, and popped a pole accessory hole in the tops of those because they look really neat with a pole accessory on there.
So we can't drill a pole accessory hole in right now because at least I couldn't find I couldn't find the battery for the drill.
Press.
Oh, the drill press, yeah. So yeah, we could do that. But that's I imagine you can all imagine how that would go anyways. You'd get a drill and put a hole.
The blue dragon on the drill bit. That's a good throwback, Yak.
Yeah.
Wow.
Blue dragon.
Yeah.
drill.
I would
He used the drill bit as a stand while he was painting a dragon.
So I had that
okay.
chuck.
Mhm.
I had my impact driver. I had a chuck for my impact driver,
Mhm.
so it could take drill bits. But it doesn't really work so well because when you stop it, it keeps rotating and it gets loose. But I used that to as a paint handle essentially. I just drilled it into the bottom of the dragon and left it there and just could hold the chuck. Then and it was like
Right.
this really nice hefty. Because I was gonna pin it and do whatever, but I'm like, why? I don't need this chuck or anything else right now. I can just like the handle, it's everything. Like it's so much easier than pinning it.
And then when he needed the paint to dry, he just like pulled the trigger and let it spin around. Yeah.
This little stylus still has a
I've-
greave I was making for a miniature.
Wow.
on it.
Get that.
Yeah. I left it on there until I was gonna put some kind of a little relief sculpture of some sort on
Can't
it.
even see it. It's so small. It's
Yeah.
that little green.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
this thing right here. My daughter was trying to pick it off the other day. I was like, no, leave that in case I
that's
ever
a
get
green.
back
That's
to
armor.
the yeah.
So
Why
your
is it
tool is
there?
armored.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah.
Ooh, I may suggest. How about mushroom clusters that are sized to the other caverns mushroom?
Sure. Well, we can do
A
maybe
little cluster of mushrooms on this floor.
a little
Where is this
stone. This floor is
floor?
here.
Well, put it where. Where do you need to work?
Probably
We'll-
here,
yeah.
so I can get at it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
That's
right.
a
Well,
fun
we
idea,
can.
a little cluster of mushrooms.
Where did that?
Because we have generally the mushrooms because they're freestanding. They need to be big enough that you don't just lose them and
Yeah.
whatnots. But little tiny ones that match that's a fun. That's a fun idea.
So in a perfect world, I probably would still put a bit of wire inside them just so they're a little sturdier. Particularly if I'm going to actually have them because like if I'm free sculpting, like something I can't do for something we're going to reproduce generally, I can put a little mushroom where the cap is wider than the base.
Undercut it.
Yeah, because
Let's do
undercuts are not a problem on an original thing. I just got to get my epoxy sculpt mixed up here. So, all right, so let's maybe just take this corner here, and all right. So I've got one thing I have in my bunch of tools is some texture stamps here.
And if you don't feel, if this feels too ambitious for you, a really simple thing you can do is you can glue some pebbles or some cat litter or like you glue some stuff to your pieces before you paint them, or
Yeah.
do it to your painted pieces and then just paint up with the same thing, and it blends in really nicely. Like there's some really amazing rocks you can find out in the world, or do the miniature basing bits, or take a little piece of cork, tear it up, and put some Vallejo texture paste on it. Like there's a lot of very easy little things you can do to add some character that don't require like actually sculpting.
Okay, so I'm probably
Repurposing.
Yeah, so I'm just adding a few little kind of pancakes here. So we'll start out by, this is obviously not the mushrooms yet. This is just some rock to give them something to attach to. But
Glitz wants to know how to make the puzzle column rotate.
you know,
You cut the three sections off and run a dowel up through the bottom. Drill a hole from the
exactly.
I
bottom.
think Real or Red is currently working on that mod right now.
Nice.
That's one of the things sort of on my back shelf. Like I've got them set aside for that, but I haven't done it yet. Somehow.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, and I definitely, it's, you know, before I turn 90. It will happen. Is that a cat hair?
Probably. You're known for your cat hairs in your sculpt.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know
What
what
are
it's doing here, but admittedly, this is a cat food container that I put this stuff in to bring in. Because my epoxy
best.
sculpt container is too big. So
Oh, magnets. That's a cool idea for that rotating pillar. So then you could change the
yeah.
order of them too. Although I guess one on the top needs to be.
yeah, so you can't change them up, but
You
yeah,
can
you
change
could.
2 and 3.
Yeah,
Magnets is fun.
yeah. So one thing to keep in mind is you want to sort of,
I
particularly with
know.
epoxy sculpt, is that
What's the working time on this?
I mean, you probably got an hour and a half, I guess. You know, probably a little more than green stuff, but it depends how warm it is where you are and what exactly you're trying to do. Like, if you're just kind of pushing it around like this, you know, you get longer. If you're, okay, just a
So
little
you're
bit.
using your texture tools, right? These are you've taken a rock and you rubbed epoxy on it to get the negative. Right?
Yes,
This is the negative texture from a rock. So then you can
Exactly.
roll it back on and you get the same texture from a real rock.
Yeah.
What do you look for when you're lifting texture off a rock? What are you looking for?
Well,
If someone wanted to make their own texture tool.
First of all, a rock that's not too crumbly so it doesn't get stuck in your epoxy. You know, just an important detail. And then, you know, go for a little variety. So, you know, sedimentary stone. You generally want it probably to be a bit more exaggerated than you might think you would want, because it's not going to transfer perfectly. So, is this still? Yeah. Okay. So. Just giving it a little bit of, you know, a little bit of sense of strata here using this. And
There's a question is, do you play in a home D&D game or other tabletop game?
Oh, yes.
And do you make custom terrain for your home games?
Yes.
Do you custom paint your pieces for your home games as well?
Oh, yes. My whole,
It's
I don't think I have anything from Dwarven Forge except for resin that I haven't painted myself.
And done a lot of mods too.
And
like,
often modded extensively, yeah. Like my swamps and forests in particular. When my daughter was born, I spent a few months where I was, you know, off from work, and sometimes in the morning my wife would need a break and my little girl would still be kind of sleepy, and so I would have her in my lap, or I could hold her with one arm and kind of cradle her and hold the piece and paint or mod. So I spent a couple weeks putting mods on my swamps, and then months. Like I probably spent, I don't know, easily in excess of 400 hours painting my swamp pieces.
and it was only 3 pieces.
No, it was a pretty big selection of swamp stuff. But I added new plants. I just I changed them all, particularly the small ones, the little corners. Because they're repetitive. So, if you got 4 of them together, I wanted them all to be different. So, okay, so here's some rocks. I could get a little fancier with this, but I've just added a little bit of layering. So, it's kind of mimicking what's going on down below. All right, now we want some mushrooms.
Are you putting these here so the mushrooms will be a little more prominent?
Yeah, so the mushrooms, I mean, I guess I could just stick them in the, I don't know. I just figured if we're gonna tinker with it, let's not have it be super flat. What mushrooms would probably want a little bit of a sheltering spot to grow, right? So,
From those great storms, the cavern storms.
well, just, a typical D&D cavern has lots of stuff
Yeah,
wandering
there's
around in it.
Critters.
Yeah.
What do you still play with? I know you had your dad would play
Yeah,
D&D with you, your brother's kids.
Yeah. So I have
So three tri-generational.
2 main campaigns right now. One is my brother, my dad, and my nephew are the main players. My wife and my niece were also part of it for a while, but after we had our daughter, my wife just got too busy.
Wait, scheduling got in the way of
Yeah.
D&D? This is
Go figure. And then the other game my brother was also part of, but also, old friends that I've been playing with, including my buddy who first introduced me to D&D when we were like 8. And yeah, that was a hoot. I actually, back in the days of the Satanic Panic, when parents were not sure what to make of it, I told my mother about it and she wasn't sure. And so I was like, all right, well, I'll just make up my own. So I made up my own game. I've done probably at least a dozen original games at this point. But my first one was called A&A, Action and Adventures.
so it came before D&D.
Yeah, well,
alphabetically.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I just whipped that up on some old paper and away we went. And there were lots of things that were wrong with it looking back, but we had a lot of fun.
Well, fundamentally, it didn't matter.
No.
At the end of the day, the rule set is much less important than just sitting down and telling a story together.
Yeah.
Someone's asking what edition Siege Sense is.
What kind of clay is that?
Yeah. Oh, okay, clay.
This is Epoxy Sculpt, APOXIE Sculpt, which is in epoxy. That is available in a variety of colors, although I just generally get kind of the natural gray, and different sizes. It's a little more, it's actually more affordable than green stuff, but it's
It's a 2-part epoxy.
it's a 2-part epoxy. Yeah, you mix it together. It has the virtue that you can actually, when it's still soft, you can like wet your hand and smooth it with water. Will smooth it, and that'll make it a little kind of chalky and goopy for a minute. But if you're careful, you don't use too much water.
When do you smooth it? What do you use that for?
Well, say I was potentially if I was sculpting a water surface, or I wanted just anything that just really wants to be smooth and flowing. It's not something I do often, but I mean, conceivably, I might use it on a mushroom cap if I wanted it to be a sort of slimy looking cap.
Toby was saying with the ice flow pieces, we're trying to get a smooth, it's textured but smooth kind of, that sort of sense of a little melty, whatever. He found the best tool was his finger.
Yeah, well, that was actually something I suggested.
Yeah,
When
he
we
was
were-
like,
we
he
did
loves
our-
it.
we
He's
were
like
thinking
totally
like,
into
yeah,
it.
use your fingers.
And he's
because-
just been doing
yeah,
this like little finger painting.
Yeah, because fingers, our hands are amazing tools. They're astoundingly dexterous. So what I'm doing now, I'm just adding a little bit of suggestion of my
Z-Man uses sculpting. Like Michelle was big.
Michelle
into
used that
sculpting.
to sculpt the Archaean ruins.
Yeah,
Lots of stuff. She was like,
yeah.
It can be bad though because she made a curved stairway for it that fell apart.
broke.
It's
when
fragile.
she-
Yeah.
We would
And sometimes
make
just cooking it will,
pieces would break in
Yep.
transit or trying to mold. We would do a silicone mold here and then send it to our factory, and we'd break it in the mold. It was really
Yeah, it doesn't
tricky.
age well. Sometimes if you built it around an armature, and sometimes the sculpey and the wood or metal inside it will sort of move around with temperature a little bit at different rates, and you get cracks. So yeah, a lot of my original Griffin Tamer stuff.
was that in sculpting?
Yeah, the big entrances and things. Those were
Yeah.
yeah, that was what I learned on Sculpey. Yeah, was probably the first thing I did. I'd use that and actually something called Procreate, which is much more like green stuff, but it's gray, but similar in other ways. And that was kind of the first epoxy I played around with.
Oh, Dave Moffat's here.
Yeah.
Rabbit said he could listen to you sculpt for hours. Listen to you sculpt.
Yeah. So
It's the,
Yeah,
I guess
Nina
so.
was saying that her first job here was accepting the sculpts that Michelle would send in.
yeah.
and how heartbroken she'd be to see it was broken.
It would come
and then,
shattered.
and then trying to repair it.
Those crazy those crests she did in castles were like really elaborate and suffered
So
a lot
thin,
in
yeah.
transit. Like it was early to like trying to figure out how to like ship. It was shipping from Utah. You guys were
Yeah.
in Utah, so it was a long trip.
Now, another thing I might point out here, if I were doing this on a more leisurely time scale, I would probably sculpt the rocks first, let them harden up, and then add the mushrooms.
So you
on.
don't ding them up while you're working on the
Exactly,
mushrooms.
yeah. So that just gives me a harder base to then, put the mushrooms onto.
So theoretically, you could do like 3 or 4 pieces at once, do all the rocks on them, and by the time you come back to the first
Could
one,
you explain the
harden it.
texture tools you're using there?
Yeah. So, well, this
Oh,
is
this
just
one.
my
No,
favorite sculpting tool.
Yeah, we did the
These-
negative.
Yeah, these are all
the rock.
textures that are pulled off of actual rocks, where I just made a shape out of epoxy, smushed it onto a rock and let it sit and harden up. And I have a few ones. I actually don't have I have one that's got more sort of strong striations for doing like the sides of sedimentary rocks. But you can also if you know what you're doing, you can use a shape like this as well for that.
Tom Crone has to be up for a 4 a.m. UK video call, but is mesmerized. He can't go to sleep. Wants to just watch this.
Yeah. And again, I would also probably ideally have some wire inside these, because that gives me a little something to push against. Trying to do, say, a bulbous top with a narrow stalk without anything inside of it is a little tricky, because it wants to push around.
You want a
particularly say I
little
want-
armature. You want a little tiny
Yeah.
piece of wire.
Say I want to do something similar to these mushrooms, where we've got little
They've got tiny little
indentations.
nubs.
So I've got a little stylus I can use for doing nubs like that. But that is inevitably going to push this around a little bit. So
Also, if you're not super artistically minded, there are a ton of people who make basing bits. So like there's a ton of stock mushrooms, like people 3D print you can buy from like Green Stuff World, and much of these have these really cheap, right? A couple bucks you get a thing that has all these tiny little thematic bits that you can use for basing your minis. So you could take something like this, sculpt up a couple of rocks, or use some real rocks, and then pop some of those basing bits on. And you don't have to have sculpting chops to be able to add some bits to your pieces.
Michelle would glue like bits of kitty litter onto the base of a miniature. Let's say.
I use
might have
kitty
one.
litter for all my. It's my go-to for minis.
So in this case, I'm just kind of judging it as it's moving around. I'm kind of counterbalancing that by pushing.
You're pushing
different
from all
sides.
sides.
Yeah. There are certain tricks you learn for, like, say you're sculpting an actual miniature or something, and you're trying to do, a finger or something that's sticking out. You've got to be really particular about how you do that. I actually have even modified tweezers, so I can like squeeze and draw out shapes.
Whoa! What did you do to the tweezers?
I actually used green stuff. I made little
So it's like cupped, like
a couple of tiny little cups.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Don't use it that often, but when you want it, it's great. Okay, so now I've got some of these little pocks in the tops here. Now what I'm going to do is kind of come back and undercut
And you're
it a bit
thinking a little bit too paint wise, right? Having texture and indentation is really helpful for
Yeah.
catching the dry brush or the wash, or just giving having some separation of depth is going to make it easier for you to paint one way or another.
Yeah, absolutely. And now I can see I can kind of pull it up a little bit, give us a little bit more of a cap here. I'll still have it touching this rock, I think, because that'll just give it a little more structure.
It's kitty litter basing.
Oh,
And you can tell once it's painted.
yeah. There's a reason a lot of people
I use kitty litter in the Vallejo texture paste, which is basically just sand and paint mixed together, and some cork, and it's like you can just do anything with stuff.
Yeah, or just like the grass bits and stuff.
I love those tufts.
Yeah, for my wedding, the cake topper, I sculpted cake toppers
Of course
which
you
was-
did.
It was a griffin for me, and for my wife, it was a wren whose tail was a fern. And I made them under this big apple tree, so the apple tree was about this tall, so I got the tiny little like apple blossom stuff, because we actually got married under a blossoming apple tree. And so,
How Vermont of you.
yeah, and then the grass tops for the dress. Yeah.
Nina sculpted the wedding topper for her wedding cake.
They're still sitting
Is it
on the
scented?
shelf. Okay, so
Ah.
here we go. Here's some little mushrooms. I mean, this is just, just a quick job, but a little bit of mycelium here. Again, I might have it crawl out over the rock more. You can always, and the other thing about this, you can always add stuff,
Yes.
Just doing the initial thing here doesn't mean that's the final version.
But you do this all the time, right?
Yeah.
You'll add another. You'll say, well, here's you put a picture up and say, okay, here's where we're at on the thing. I think I'm going to add a X, Y, and Z or whatever, and just add another layer.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's good just let it sleep overnight, right?
Mhm.
Look at it with fresh eyes.
Look at it again, be like, yeah, this feels like something's missing over here.
Yeah.
Or even when it's a finished thing and I'm modding them and be like, well, funnily enough, one thing I often do is block out some of the thoughtful touches because they're unique, so I will replace, if this one has a bird skull, I'll block out the bird skull and instead put a lizard over here, so it has a similar amount of interest, but I just, add more different things.
So you'll
then
you'll sculpt over an existing thoughtful touch with an even more thoughtful touch.
Yeah.
Double
A new
thoughtful
plant,
touch.
yeah.
I love it.
Okay,
It's so
so-
good.
Those mushrooms are still looking a little squeezed together. Which
Oh, is
mushrooms
this-
do kind of squeeze together when they grow sometimes.
The kitty litter base scented. Yeah. I don't know. Once it's sealed in paint, you can't tell that. You don't know if it's scented kitty litter or not. I like that once again you put your logic of where would these things form? Well, somewhere with a little bit of shelter, right? The story is still driving them on. Like what's the story you're trying to tell in this thing? Well, a couple little mushrooms and have a sheltered spot in this underdark cavern where critters move around. Look at that. Pop it on. Where'd it go? I lost it.
Got a little bit left. I don't know how we're doing for time. Maybe
Oh,
right
we're about out
okay. Well,
of time, but. And Hellscape, the smell of Hellscape pieces. Speaking of scent. Dragos played D&D for his bachelor party. I love it.
so did I.
David Moffat says if you can find a place that does wall decor, some have free samples of living wall decor, which is mostly preserved mosses. Huh. I love that. Look at this little cool, unique, one-of-a-kind piece. And this is a way to just, once again, add more organic texture into your caverns, get a little more variety, particularly if you're working with a limited, right, if you've got 20 of these walls and nothing else, it's like giving a little bit of variance to those bits. Which is pretty neat. We should wrap it out. It's 8:59. So that will stay attached when it hardens for sure, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the main trick with this is that those little mushrooms, because the epoxy sculpt is kind of brittle, if you bang those, they might break off. So you'll need to treat that gently. If it was just the flat rocks, it would be very sturdy. But
Yak wants a magic mouth magnet for DF walls. We have the head of security from which will be in Caverns Reforged in a couple of packs. It's an elf head stuck to the you can stick to your wall. Let's call it a night. So Chuck, Eli, thank you guys for being here. You want to sign off? Chuck,
yeah.
It's really one of the things we don't get to do as often as we like with this channel is get to sort of showcase all the faces, the many folks. Actually, not that many. The 18 or 20 people we've got here, but it's just real people of this company, right, doing this stuff. So it's nice to get some faces in front of you, all you folks out there, so you can see the people behind the screen names or behind your the emails or behind the posts or behind the sculpts or behind the whatever. and it's the very first on the Anvil was showing the process, so we're really with Eli. So it's really any chance we can to show you a glimpse into how we approach art and the pieces and the thought that goes into it and the emotion that goes into it and all it. Hopefully, it's a good one for you. Do you guys have any parting thoughts, parting words?
I mean,
So
Thanks.
really love the sculptor doing over there.
Yeah.
thanks. Yeah, glad you like
Yeah,
that.
keep
I'm
that
glad
safe.
I could do
Chris,
something for Michelle. Yeah.
do we have any closing thoughts? We'll be back next week.
Yeah,
It's the week before launch, isn't it?
week before launch, so next week will probably be, I don't know, whatever there is left to say about Caverns
Yeah.
and Forge, we'll say next week.
Unless
Um,
there's some crazy sprint to the finish, in which case we may not be streaming. But
True, yeah, if we need to put the time into something else. But
And Hobby
currently,
Hang?
we think we'll be here.
Hobby Hang tomorrow.
Yeah, Hobby Hang tomorrow, I'm sure, unless he's got something going on, but I haven't heard him say anything about it. Yeah, that's basically it.
Amazing. Well, we appreciate you guys hanging out with us, and you got some glimpses, some serious beans tonight. So hopefully that'll tide you over. Thanks again. It really is. I can't state it enough how nice it is to have such a regular group of people that tune in, and having had the chance to meet a bunch of you in person. We appreciate all the support and all the ideas and all the good vibes and listening to talk about nothing for 2 hours.
Yeah. If someone's curious about this sort of stuff, you can catch me on Discord sometimes if you have questions. I don't always get the messages immediately, but I'll answer eventually, and I love chatting about this. So,
What's your Discord?
Griffin Tamer.
Griffin Tamer,
Yeah.
the OG. How many Griffin Tamer backers do we have watching? Anybody?
Yeah. How many?
Get that-
How many?
That
that'd be
Temple
interesting.
Pediment? Or the,
Any from my original
yeah.
got me into all this? That'd be cool.
2 a.m. Oof. Yeah, I'll have to see what people do with the bits they're inspired by. Dungeon Creations Facebook page. Cool.
All right.
Oh, thank you all.
Yeah.
Good night. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.